Good evening, boys and girls. No matter where in the world you might be, thank you for joining us for another Arsenal post-game show. It did not end the way we had wished, but many of you had imagined. Here we go.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, boys and girls. Welcome to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. I mean, you know, every now and again, everyone loves a spank. Okay, sorry. I'll start again. Let me just start over. It was a spanking. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I have some spankers in the house. How's everyone doing? You know, hit the likes. That's a good piece of advice right now. Hey, Universal Greek. Hey, Squaddies. Good evening. At ease to each and every one of you. Hope you're well. All the usual suspects in the house. Taib, Mark, K. Marlon, Ryan, MK. How you doing? Tammy, Universal Greek. Where do we begin? Super Kev will be here in a few. I didn't want to get a yellow card and move the time of the show. So Kev is broadcasting for an international media outlet right now. And clearly there's a lot to digest and discuss after a 4-0 loss. So he will be with us momentarily. And I didn't want to keep you kids waiting because I didn't want to get carded again. Because if I got carded, then someone else would have to host the show, which probably isn't a bad idea, to be honest with you. Let's be honest, right? We usually go immediately after the game, and it felt weird not to do that. But here we are. Yeah, we take one on the chin. Okay. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? On this show yesterday, Super Kev got us all riled up. And when he is here, I will remind him of that also. Soph, how you doing? I hope you're well. You feel proud of the performance. Yes, before Mane scored. We hope you're feeling better, little Soph. Sending lots of love to you. Newman would host and probably lose our YouTube license. Let's all be honest, right? So yesterday on the show, Kev got us all riled up. And remember when James Johnston was here on the show doing the breakdown, the tactical squad? He was fearful and he talked about being conservative and trying to match them, but playing conservative football. He also talked about this being a fair hit if we lost. I understand losing to Liverpool. I said a few weeks ago they're the best team in Europe right now. Chelsea are obviously the best team because they are the double European Cup holders. They have the Champions League and they also won the Super Cup, of course. But in terms of form, Chelsea and Liverpool are the two best teams in Europe right now. No doubt about it. Lots of offers, by the way, for hosts. I got a message here from Super Kev. He's still broadcasting. That's okay, Super Kev. I'm here when you are ready. Patience. Everyone says Arsenal should be patient. Let's let Kev know I'm live, but we'll wait. This is live broadcasting, you guys. This is how it works. So everyone says patience, so I'll be patient and wait for Super Kev because I'm very curious to know what he thinks. So yes, there is no harm, no foul in losing 4-0, but we've got to be consistent and we've got to back up what we said on this show. And we said on this show yesterday that the old Arsenal's out the window and accepting a hit is unacceptable. So we can't renege on that, right? I want to ask you guys this before we get stuck into some of the nuts and bolts and the player ratings. Brentford drew 3-3 and put on a show at Anfield against Liverpool. Brighton got a 2-2. Arguably, they could have won that game. West Ham beat Liverpool 3-2. So I want you guys, because right now you're my co-host, can you help me understand how is it that Brighton and Brentford and West Ham give Liverpool a run for their money and a game, and we didn't? You could argue, everyone's saying that we got spanked by the better team. Of course we did. But why didn't Brighton? Why didn't West Ham? Why didn't Brentford? And you could argue also that this was a weaker Liverpool team than the Liverpool teams that Brighton, Brentford, and West Ham faced. So I want you guys to help me out, because right now you're my co-host. Mel Malaysian Guna says, easy, Soph. We've got a novice manager. Dejan says, sometimes a lesser team steals a win or a draw, as did those teams you mentioned. We hope for the same, but this is a fluke. Let them play 100 times in Liverpool. But that's not the point. So this is what we talked about yesterday on the show, and Kev said it, and he said it really clearly as well. No excuses. None of this, we can take a hit. None of this is Liverpool. None of this, we haven't won in Anfield in years. None of all that stuff. Let me read some stats. 63.4% possession to our, you do the math. They had 19 shots total. We had 5. They had 9 on target, scored 4. We had 3. They had 7 block shots. We had 2. Their passer rating was 88.6. Ours was 78.8. Clear-cut chances, they had 4. Corners, they had 6. We had 1. And the one that we had, what was that? Tackles, 57.1%, 38.9 to the Arsenal. Aerial duels, 52 versus 52.4 versus 47.6. 3 saves for Liverpool, 5 for the Arsenal. Fouls committed, 15 for them, 12 for us. Fouls won, 11 for them, 15 for us. They had 2 yellow cards. So I guess I'm trying to understand what happened. I think this is key. No physicality up front, but Arsenal Fan Circle channel, this too. He was amazing today, Jota. What a great signing for Liverpool. He was the boss. This was pretty much Liverpool's strongest team. They had Fabinho and Thiago back. Yes, they did. But Henderson's not chopped liver. And that's the point. The teams that faced Brentford, Brighton, and West Ham did not have... I don't believe Thiago played in those games. So I guess I'm trying to understand, and maybe it's a deeper dive, and when Kev gets here, we can talk about that, but how were those teams able to force a result against Liverpool and we were unable to do so? 250 of you in live chat. Hit that like button for us and subscribe, of course, if you dig what we do. Let me get to some more of your comments here before we get into some play ratings. Needed Saka to be more adventurous. Yes, and he made some poor decisions in that first half. I actually thought in the first half we did well. But then people say, well, at least we didn't concede 4 goals in the first 23 minutes. It took 70-something minutes. But really, is that the team that we've become? We're just happy that it happened later rather than earlier. And if it wasn't for Aaron Ramsdale, how many goals would that have been? Sophie, stop hyping Liverpool. Oh, my days. Are you serious? Do you think I need to hype Liverpool? They are, alongside Chelsea, probably the best team in Europe right now. It's ridiculous. If fans are happy for us to get beat by our supposed to-be rivals and collect points mid-bottom table, then they need to evaluate. You know what, Knuckles? I don't listen to all that shit. I mean, that's insane. If you want your team to lose, I just don't get that. I don't have time for it. We need a world-class manager now for the big occasions. Well, look, the midfield was poor today. And that is a nonsense comment. And bless Ramsdale. And I am still not over the timing of the subs. What was that about? You need to affect the game. You need to create change. And Sambi was poor. Thomas Partey was poor. What was that today? Is he even fit? Should we have played Maitland-Niles from the beginning? Nuno had an absolute horror show. And this is the problem. We had momentum going into the international break, and it's very difficult to pick that up again. But also it's very difficult because you have a very tough team to face when you get back. The way they press, the way they suffocate the ball, the way they suffocate you when you win the ball back. We were terrible on and off the ball. The timing of the subs were not late today. The Sambi one wasn't. But don't you think the Odegaard one was? Maitland-Niles came on, I think, at the right time. He shrank, came Marlon. Absolutely. Did not seem in the game at all. And in hindsight, would you have done something a little different? And also in hindsight, would you have maybe opted for El Neni to provide a little bit of that defensive wall in midfield, considering how we went back to old school Arsenal, where the back line was absolutely, completely exposed. And also we needed less of a ball carrier and more of a ball holder. And I think Odegaard would have provided that a little bit. And my question to you is, what the bloody hell does Martinelli have to do to get a game for the Arsenal? Do you know what I'm thinking, guys? I'm thinking that his father's comments were actually very calculated, very smart. If that was my son, I would do the same thing. I think it was more of an announcement of, we're open to a move. They may think that they say, you know, that we don't want to move, but I'm sorry. That is pure, I'm going to get my son out of this. He should be starting. How is it possible that he doesn't even get a sniff to come on in this game? Aubameyang should have been substituted. Bring on Martinelli for Aubameyang. Why talk about Martinelli now? We've been talking about him on this show, actually, Oisin, for weeks. And yesterday and last week, we had key questions about Martinelli. That is why we're talking about him now. It's very relevant. When you've got no ingenuity, no creativity, no pace, no guile up front, and you're playing against Liverpool when you have nothing to lose and everything to gain, why not bring him on? Nobody was complaining about the team set up at the start. No. But it doesn't mean that we can't evaluate where we are now. And ladies and gentlemen, I bring in the one, the only, Super Kev, Super Kevin Campbell.
Hey, Sophie. Hi, everybody. Squaddies. How's everybody doing? At ease. Come on, let's get stuck into it.
We've got 350 plus in live chat, Kev, and I'm just kind of starting to talk about, here's where I've been kicking in, right? Mm-hmm. I said that we were very open about, because someone just challenged and said, you know, why are we talking about Martinelli? And My point was we brought him up in our conversations this week and last week, and we've always felt like at some point Martinelli would have a role to play in this side. But if I can just rewind, my initial opening, Kev, was how is it that Brighton and Brentford can get a result and West Ham can beat Liverpool and we fall to the... Can you help me understand that, Kev, a little bit?
Yeah, I could help you big time, Soph.
Okay.
It's called a game of football, Sophie, because here's the problem that you have when you reflect like that. How can they do that and we can't? It's just like Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace, explain how Crystal Palace can go to Manchester City and beat them. Yet we go there and lose 5-0. Sometimes you can't put your finger on it, why it happens. Don't forget, this Liverpool side, for instance, went to Aston Villa and got beat 7 last season. So, again, this hindsight, we went into this game, Sophie, feeling good about ourselves. We know this is going to be the ultimate test at probably the toughest place you can go. We done okay first half and just got caught on the free kick. But what happened in the second half, Sophie, was naive. It was naive. It was. You cannot legislate for winning the ball back and losing balls outside our box, outside our own area. You cannot legislate for that. It is a learning curve, yes. Is it a shame? I don't like losing. I hate losing. I wanted us to punch them in the mouth. Of course I did. But can we lose there? Of course we can lose. Of course we can. And by the way, Arteta didn't park no bus. I thought first half we were okay. I thought. Sophie, and we're going to get to that part where Arteta and Klopp have it on the side. Have you dealt with that yet?
No, I have not. I've been waiting for you for that. Okay. Because I want to start a little before we get to the play ratings, and I think that is a big talking point as well. I really am fascinated by this. You know, Brentford 3, Liverpool 3, Brighton 2, Liverpool 2, and I hear what you're saying, Kevin. I agree. It's a game of football, and you said yesterday in your the ending of Kevin Says, you believe like the old mentality's out the window. It's out the door. We are now marching on and moving on. But we were kind of bitch slapped a la Wenger, Unai, you know, and now Arteta. Now, I also said on this show, and I'm going to be, I'm an open book. Liverpool are for me with Chelsea the best teams in Europe right now. I know there's Bayern and Barcelona, but that's in name only right now. In terms of form, those two teams are the best two teams in Europe. And it's difficult to go and beat them on their turf. But when a newly promoted Brentford go there, get 3 goals and get a point.
No, they didn't. That was at Brentford.
Okay. When they play Liverpool in their own backyard, and maybe it'll be different for us, they still got a point out of them, Kevin.
Yeah, but we beat them. When we beat them last season, season before, we beat them. So we can all do that, Soph. We can all do that, go back and, we beat them at home. But this is at their patch.
No, but we're talking about this season now, not last season. And it's been a long time since...
but Brentford game was at Brentford. We're talking about at Anfield.
Right, but the point is that they still got a point out of them.
What, at Brentford?
Why were we so timid? This is the game where I think do you remember like when teams would set up against Barcelona and they would be so timid and they'd park the spaceship, but the teams that went at Barcelona, okay, would garner some type of result or at least give it a go. I would rather lose 4-0 and have given it a go than been so conservative.
So do you think do you think in the first half we didn't give it a go, Soph?
I
I
think
think we did.
I think we tried, but I think that in the end, our fear kicked in. And here's why: because we were so ineffective in the final third. Our passing was so poor. When we were in positions to affect the game, we really failed. Saka today, his final decision making, again, I'm going to bring this up. The Saka for England is this happy-go-lucky guy. And lately for Arsenal, I'm sorry, I love him. I want to protect him. I want to wrap him up in cotton wool and put him on my windowsill, as I've said. But he's been so poor. So poor. And he had an opportunity in that first half, and he made such a terrible decision in terms of his timing, his decision making, Kev.
Sophie, we have discussed this previously, and we always said Smith Rowe and Saka to be where we need them to be. It's the production that they bring, goals and assists. That's the way we got to look at them. We know they're going to work hard, and we know technically they're good. But it's the production that they bring to the team. That's going to be the difference maker, Sophie. But again, here's the issue. Respectively, they're 20 and 21 years old.
But we laud them when they do well.
Sophie, of course we do. But we still have to take into consideration, Sophie, that they're still young. They're babies.
I get that, but I think Saka's been poor for Arsenal for a bit. And his form for England is very different. And I get the pressure is different, Courtney. Yes. There's still a lot of pressure when you're trying to make an impression and make a mark on being in an England team as it is an Arsenal team. Kev, why don't we talk about... Look, I felt like we lost like boys and we didn't fight like men today.
I thought first half, I thought we done okay. I thought we done okay in the first half. I really did. With a bit more quality in the last third, we could have done something.
Right.
But Sophie, after the break, what do the best teams do? The best teams adjust, and then they come for you. Liverpool didn't even need to come for us at the start.
Yes.
We caused our own problems.
We did, and John Renee's right. We were terrible on and off the ball today. Off the ball, we were terrible. And technically poor. Here's what I want to get into, Kev, before we get to the play ratings. We could talk about the game in a little bit more detail. Disagree, Sophie. We did very well in the first. I said we did. We did well up until this point, right? I loved seeing Mikel Arteta have a handbags at dawn fight with Jurgen Klopp. It was fantastic. We haven't seen that really. Unai Emery was very animated on the sidelines. We haven't seen like a fist fight, handbags at dawn since Wenger and Mourinho. I like that he gave as good as he got, right? But after a little bit, he got sucked into the Klopp mind games of things, in my opinion. There are certain managers that are really good at doing this. And I mentioned it on Twitter, and some people were like, oh, well, if he just sat there. No. I love that he did that. I thought it was awesome. But when you're the manager of a young team and you're at Anfield, Kev, you need a level head. And we were in that game.
Sophie, so what are you saying then? Are you saying that because that happened, we fell apart in the second half?
No, I'm saying a little bit like Yo-Yo. It was a little bit embarrassing, like when Lampard went after Klopp, right? A little bit.
It was embarrassing.
Also, yeah, a bit of Ferguson Keegan. Yeah. I don't know if it looks stage. He didn't initiate it, but he ended it, but he let it go on too long, got a yellow card. When you have a young team, Kevin, and they're looking to you for guidance, right? After that, the game changed.
And why did it change, Soph? Let's see if you get it. How did the game change after that?
Well, because Klopp galvanized himself. He galvanized the crowd. He galvanized his players. he got in Arteta's head, and we too took on
Hold
the
on.
personality.
He got in Arteta's head. How does that?
Yeah. Well, let me finish my point. He then, unfortunately, as I've said, or fortunately, a team is an image of their manager. And I believe that after that incident, our team took a little of that heat from Arteta and we became a bit ill-disciplined, and they were galvanized. They got behind their team and they broke us down, and they got the goal.
For me, Soph, I've just been covering it, and let me tell you this: we were sitting comfortable.
I wouldn't say comfortable.
We were sitting comfortable while they were passive. We were sitting comfortable. Jurgen Klopp does it all the time. He gets the crowd involved. He does a beeline. He's done it with Lampard. He's done it with virtually everybody. He causes a stir on the side, especially at Anfield. That gets the crowd involved. And do you know what happens after that, Sophie? Liverpool step it up.
So you agree with me?
No, you're saying that he got in Arteta's head and we went back. It isn't about us. It's about them. They stepped it up. They're at home. They stepped it up, and we couldn't handle them.
That's what I said. They stepped it up. We couldn't handle them. They were galvanized.
No, Sophie. What you said was, we suffered. Arteta couldn't galvanize our team.
No, I never said that. I said, no, I did not say that.
You did. You said Arteta. You said they're a young team.
Yes,
who
and he should behave better.
Are looking for Arteta
guidance.
for
I said guidance. I never said
galvanize.
No.
Guidance is galvanized, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's a completely different. No, it's not.
It's not then. So I'm only telling you what I think then. So you tell me what you think when I finish.
I think what's 777 Rough Driver saying, it lifted the roof off of Anfield.
It got Liverpool back on the front foot.
That's you're reiterating what I said.
But we couldn't handle it.
Exactly.
It's got nothing to do with whether Arteta wants to galvanize, whether he wants to guide. It's about them, not about us.
Kevin, the point is that action caused the effect.
Klopp caused the effect, Sophie.
Yes,
it's
and
not
Arteta got sucked.
Yes, it's not Arteta. Arteta challenged the referee about the challenge. Klopp is the one who came across.
I don't understand. What is this? Kevin, okay.
No, Klopp is the one who came across.
Kev is right. It was the crowd that got them going. How are you guys? Am I talking to like a brick wall here? I don't understand. I said after that incident, Liverpool were galvanized. The crowd grew. Klopp grew. They all came together and we were punished. And because Arteta got sucked into it, when they did score, what did he do? He ear-cupped. Did he not? He came straight back and looked at Arteta and went like this. It was in his head and their head.
So what exactly does that mean, Sophie? Because he done that. What does it mean?
Kevin, what do you mean, what does it mean? It was a bit amateurish on his part because, number one...
about what?
The fact that you make your point, but he took it a bit too far. And it got to the point where it became like a thing.
Sophie, who made it a thing? Did Arteta make it a thing or did Klopp make it a thing?
Oh, come on, Kev. It was handbags at dawn.
I'm asking you a question.
Klopp started it and Arteta made it a thing.
He didn't start it, Sophie.
Klopp started it and Arteta made it a thing.
Sophie, so what you're saying to me is if Arteta didn't make a beeline for the referee about the challenge, do you reckon Klopp starts something? He doesn't. He was waiting for Arteta to do that, and then he went for it.
Of course. We're talking about once the incident happens, Kev. Klopp made it a thing. Arteta went, hey, come on, foul. But Klopp is the one that made it a thing, and Arteta bit.
But that's what I said. That's what I said.
We're totally...
It's not Arteta. It was Klopp who made it because he wanted them to get the fire underneath them. That's what I said.
Okay, DS. I don't care if I've played professional football or not. It is my opinion that Arteta brought the incident to the referee's attention. Klopp made it a thing and Arteta took it too far. And then after that, Liverpool were galvanised. Klopp was galvanised. His team were galvanised and they scored. And then he cupped his ears as if to say,
Sophie.
It was an amateur move for Arteta to get too sucked into the moment.
How did he take it too far? How?
You got your players that started coming in and your coaches pulling you back and all that. That's embarrassing.
So what is he supposed to do? You tell me.
You make your point, you go at him a little bit and then you take a step back because then after that, we lost our heads a little bit and we lost our focus and our concentration.
We didn't lose our heads. We didn't. Where did we lose our heads?
We lost our heads. We lost our mental engagement in the match.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Not in the first half, we did.
We conceded a goal, Kevin.
Yes, but that was because it was good play, not because we lost our heads, Sophie. We never lost our heads. No chance.
There was good play all the way around. We were very much.
Second half, I agree. Second half, we lost. We lost everything. Second half, but in the first half, Sophie, sorry, I can't agree with that. And it's nothing to do with what happened for Arteta. It was Klopp who got his team going. That's the difference.
But he was galvanized by Arteta coming at him, and he got everyone riled up. The calls created an effect.
Sophie, you said Arteta took it too far.
He was being restrained, like Liverbird Life says.
Yeah, but why you, Sophie? Hold on a minute. Let me just explain something. If I'm saying to you, I want Arsenal to go in there and punch them in the mouth, that ain't just the team; it's Arteta as well. He has to reflect what the team want to do.
Yeah, but like Little So says, they could have felt distracted by the argument. I felt like it was distracting.
Sophie, they're professional footballers, Sophie.
Yeah, but they're young. They're young. They're immature.
No, Sophie. It's not a free hit. Remember, it's not a free hit.
Oh, God.
And the team were doing just fine.
I never said it's because we lost. Jesus Christ, you guys. I'm saying we lost our concentration and our mental impotence in the game.
We didn't, Sophie.
It's my opinion that we did.
I know, but I'm saying I don't think we did. I think their goal was just good play.
All their goals were good play.
No, but the first one was good play. We were fully engaged in the game. They caught us out. They're a top team.
They're one of the best teams in Europe. But
second half, we fell apart.
You know what? Okay, everyone, stop. Don't sit here and... Yesterday on this show, you were all behind the comments about no excuses. Everyone lit a fire under James's arse when he said it's a free hit. And we were like, no way, no more free hits for the Arsenal. This is the game. This is where we have to cause and affect change. Hold on one second. I'm not making excuses. Let me finish my point. Arteta? I'm not making excuses. I'm pointing it out. Okay, just let me finish my point. Everybody said and agreed that you lit a fire and we've got to go and it's like rear view mirror. We've got to stop being this Arsenal pacifying, accepting poor results at Anfield. No. And here we got bitch slapped by Liverpool. And my point is, how is it Brighton and Brentford and West Ham were able to get results against... Why can't you bloody criticise this team or this manager? It's infuriating. Why can Brentford and Brighton and West Ham get results against Liverpool and we cannot?
Sophie, it's a game of football.
Oh, Kev, don't give me that. Explain
So
how
what
they
is
did
it
it.
then, Sophie? So you tell me what
I'm
is it
asking
then?
you. You're the expert who's crossed the white lines. Why don't you tell me?
Yeah, but when I tell you, you don't want to hear.
I'm
When I
listening,
tell
Kev.
you, no, you're not.
Yes,
You're
I
not
am.
listening.
I
So
am listening.
Stop trying to blame the manager when second half, we lost it. That's it.
Okay,
Second
hold on a
half, we
second.
lost it.
Where did
It
I
wasn't the
blame?
first half we lost
I'm
it. We
asking.
lost it
I
in the
didn't
second
blame
half.
the manager. I'm asking how
No, you
is
weren't
it
asking, Sophie.
those teams
Sophie, you wasn't
got results
asking.
against Liverpool and we were
Sophie.
unable to do that?
Sophie, you wasn't
And yes,
asking.
he lost his head today, Kevin.
Sophie, but you weren't asking. You said Mikel Arteta kept going and caused the problem. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Yes, in my opinion,
And that's fine. That's your opinion, but not in mine.
Okay, so explain to me then, as someone who's crossed the white lines, I'm not reaching. This is my opinion. If you guys don't like it, and some of you don't, and some of you do, it's all cool with me. But again, I would love someone to explain to this lowly fan who's never played the game, as many of you have pointed out today, how is it that Graham Potter and his Brighton can get a point against Liverpool, a newly promoted team like Brentford can score 3 goals and get a point against Liverpool, and West Ham United can beat Liverpool? Explain to me.
I've already explained it, Sophie, but you don't listen.
You said it's a game of football. That is
That's
not an
what it is.
explanation. No, it's not.
Well, so what is it then? Rugby?
Imran says, Sophie's right, Kev wrong and out of line. Yes, we did well for a few weeks, but let's face it, they were crap opposition, came up against top 4 and we were exposed. Klopp is miles ahead of all spheres. So again, with that said...
We're not saying... Hold on a minute.
How
Who's
did they do
that
it?
Liverpool... Who said we're on Liverpool's level? Nobody. Nobody once said...
I'd like you to explain to me how
And
it is those other teams... No, that's not a good excuse. It's not a good enough explanation.
Well, your explanation about Arteta isn't what I like, but I have to accept it. Why can't you accept it?
No, hold on 1 second. You said that the reason why it's because it's a game of football. What's that?
Yeah, a game of football is you can win and lose, Sophie. That's what the game of football does. That's how it works.
Kevin.
No, don't Kevin me, Sophie. Because at the end of the day, when Crystal Palace comes to the Emirates and we draw, remember, it was like a loss. I don't see the same energy from you, Sophie, when they go to Manchester City and beat them. You don't bring it up. You say nothing.
What do you mean? I said that was incredible.
Because it's a game of football.
Because we talk about comparing why and the how. It's not just because it's a game of football, Kev. There's a lot that goes into that.
No, of course there is, but it's a game of football, Sophie.
I'm going to give you a yellow card in a minute.
Sophie, you can give me what you want. I'm telling you, it's a game of football.
But that is not that doesn't explain. Okay, so then how does Graham Potter then, Namari, well done, go to and lose to Villa? How does that happen?
Sophie, it's on the day, Soph. It's on the day.
Jeez.
Normally, Brighton will get whooped. They were 2-0 down, but they came back. They showed some spirit. They showed some fight. It's a game of football, Sophie. On the day, things happen. This happens all the time.
How have I lost the plot? Explain to me how I've lost the plot. And if you can't listen, then be out. This is an important discussion, Christopher. Why doesn't anyone want to hear the truth? It's one game, but it's against Liverpool.
Opinion.
My point is...
No, you're saying the truth. It isn't the truth. It's your opinion, Sophie. So don't make it out like it's the truth.
It's my truth.
Opinion.
It's my truth and my opinion. Calm down.
Yeah, it's your opinion, but don't say the truth like that's it.
I said the truth is you jumped down my throat. You didn't even let me finish the goddamn sentence.
Sophie,
my goodness.
You keep saying the same thing. And I keep saying the same thing.
All right, let's move on. Let's do player ratings. Ramsdale.
9. He was outstanding today. He kept the score down. kept the score down.
For me, he's the only one that was worthy of wearing the shirt today. He gets a 9. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He was just everywhere.
He was outstanding, Soph. He was outstanding.
I don't
He
need
had
to.
He had to be. He had to be.
He did. Is it the players today then, Kev, or is it the manager?
Of course it's the players. It always is the players.
You better not push Kevin too far. You forget he's got Jamaican blood.
It's always the players.
Oh my God,
Sophie.
why is it? This is what I can't stand. It's one game. Oh my God. It's one game, but it's an important game. And my only question, Jesus, is like, why did Brentford and Brighton and West Ham get a result and we got bitch slapped?
Because that's the way it went, Soph. We can't, Sophie, you can't live in a football world saying that. You can't. We came into this
I can
game.
live in a football world and say what I want.
Well, you are saying it, but what I'm saying is, you could say that throughout every season. How did this happen? How did Liverpool go to Aston Villa and lose 7? It happens. We weren't good enough on the day, Soph. We weren't good enough.
But we've never been good enough at Anfield, and that's the point. At some
What do you mean
point,
never? We have.
You said in 89, you said, Kevin, on this show the other night, it's time for no more excuses. None of this, none of that.
How
and
is
you
it
are
making
making
excuses, Sophie? How?
Because
How
now you're
am I
just saying
making
it's a game of
excuses?
football, whereas yesterday you were like,
Sophie, Sophie, I'm going to tell you what I just said, and I'm going to reiterate it. I said we weren't good enough, or did I not? We weren't good enough on the day. We weren't good enough today, Sophie. That's it. There's no more to be said. We weren't good enough. I'm not making excuses. Liverpool were better than us. That's it. It's no shame for that they were better than us.
I'm not blaming. I'm okay. You can all come at me and say I'm blaming the manager and I'm whatever. I say things as I see them. I watch a game and I give my opinion.
Of course.
On this show.
But everybody else does too.
Of course they do. Just stop with the craziness, everyone. My point here is, and I will say it again, and maybe I should write it on a piece of paper and a placard. I think that we have improved so much that we've become a better team than Brentford, a better team than Brighton, and we're trying to get to a point where West Ham are at. That's all. How do we get bitch slapped and they don't? And Kev thinks it's just because it's a game of football. Okay, so let's move to Ben White.
No, Tomiyasu.
Okay. All right, we'll go to Tomiyasu.
Tomiyasu, 5. He gets a 5 from me. I thought he weren't too bad. The issue was when Sadio Mane starts running across our front, our back line, we can't pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
They cause us major problems when they start to move. And we couldn't handle it. Second half, we couldn't handle it. First half, I thought we were okay.
Yeah.
Second half, we couldn't handle it. And we couldn't keep the ball. We crashed.
And Vuk, if you don't like it, you can tune out. I respect your opinion. But if you think listening to me is worse than watching us lose 4-0 to Liverpool, then I ask you if, I'm not sure. Not sure about that. Tomiyasu gets a 5 for me. I agree with Fatality Dub. Just not good enough today. Had some moments in the first half, but in the second half, we folded like cheap lawn chairs. Who do you want to do next, Kev?
We could go Ben White. I thought, again, Sophie, first half to second half, we saw a huge drop-off, Soph. We saw a huge drop-off. And we just couldn't, we're in the quicksand and couldn't get out of it. Ben White for me was 4 today, Soph. He was a 4.
Yeah.
Mane running off him. People coming off, not getting tight. Second half, we were poor. But,
I think it's just one of those matches where you realize, as good as you've been and as much progress as you've made, when you come up against world class players and a world class team, it's difficult. So for me, Ben White gets a 5 as well. All right, Gabriel.
Gabriel, I thought again, first half, I thought he done great. Second half, I give Gabriel a 5. So I thought he tried very hard, but we kind of fell apart as that back five. The only one who really played to his position was Ramsdale. So if I'm honest, Gabriel for me gets a 5. I thought he was decent, but without being great.
Yeah, I would say as well, Kev, the same. I would give him the same rating for Gabriel. Not much to write home about. Okay. Oh boy.
Yeah. Tough one, tough day at the office for Tavares. Look, and I know he's come in and he's done pretty well, but this was the acid test, Soph. This really was the acid test. And the worst thing about this was, for their second goal, you try and work it out, and you see the replays of it, and I don't understand how we could pass it there. I don't understand. But look, Tavares, he made a mistake. We understand. I'll give Tavares a 3 today. That second goal was the killer, and you're always up against it then, always.
He was handing out free passes like dollar bills in a strip club. That was poor. It was awful. And at some point, one of our young players was going to have a horror show like this against a top tier team. And a lot of folks poo-pooed the idea of Tierney coming back. And in hindsight, you could say, okay, maybe Tierney would have fared better, but would he? We don't know that. So we can't really say that, and we're not going to kill him for it. So unfortunately, this was coming. A performance like this was gonna happen to someone, and it happened to Nuno.
Sophie, at the end of the day, we spoke about it yesterday. We said for a long time we haven't had a team who picks itself. That is the only position where you could probably say Amanar is the left back spot, isn't it? That's the only position. Should he play? Shouldn't he play? But listen, he'd been playing pretty well coming into the game. He had a bad day at the office today. It's no excuse. It's just is what it is. He wasn't good today. That's it. He wasn't good.
Rough driver. It's a joke. Calm down, babe. It's all good. You know what? I don't think you can kill Arteta for that choice. 100%, Kev. We've been wanting a team that picks itself, and here's a team that everyone deserved to start. Yeah. Now
you could adjust if you need to.
There's some decisions to be made. Newcastle scrounged a point today. It's not going to be easy. They're fighting for their lives. This new energy, new manager. That next game's not going to be easy. Okay, Super Kev. Another rough day at the office, eh?
Rough day at the office, and I don't know if you get an opportunity to see highlights, they targeted Lokonga. They targeted Lokonga. Why? Because they knew sometimes he shows them the ball. Maybe it's a thing that he's got to get out of. Maybe at Anderlecht, that's the way he's been taught. But in the Premier League, you do not get that time. And against a team like Liverpool, they zero in on, you've got a weakness, they jump on you. And that's what they done, especially second half. And the manager had to relieve him there. He had to take him off. So, had to.
He made that sub early, and a sub had to happen very quickly in midfield, because that's exactly where we absolutely capitulated and lost the game. There was no protection for the back line, and there was nothing going forward. Laka and Oba were feeding off scraps. They couldn't impose themselves in the game. We'll get to them eventually, but it was an absolute nightmare performance for Sambi. And I felt for him again. Here we go. against top opposition, you really learn about your squad, your team, youth, how they can deal with certain situations, stressful situations, Kev.
Mhm.
And, you know, I'm not saying that Maitland-Niles stopped the rot when he came on. That was another one of the arguments, wasn't it? Does Sambi start? Does Maitland-Niles start? But in all fairness, I'm going to switch to the next guy because
Well, I'm not give Sambi
okay.
a
What's your
rating.
rating?
I give Sambi a 4. I thought he was all right first half, Soph, but just they started to target him. They adjusted and they said, right, as soon as he gets it, we got to get after him, and they just broke us up. They made us crash. So I'll give him a 4.
Yeah, I give him a 3. It was poor. It was really poor. And partly why it was poor is because, once again, our younger players at some point are not going to be able to carry this team over and over and over again, and they're going to need to rely on the elder statesman. And I think this guy let Sambi down today.
First game back. Yeah.
Let the team down today. And dare I say, Kev, are you thinking he's not fully fit? Did we take an unnecessary risk today?
He had to be fully fit to play, Soph. He had to be fully fit to play. Problem is, Sophie, it's his first game back. So, again, was he good? No, he wasn't good today. I thought Partey was poor. Partey was 4. I rate him at a 4 today. He wasn't great. It's his first game back. But he had to come back at some stage. He has to come back. So.
But when you say you've played through injuries, players play through injuries. I think that I get we were all happy that he could play. Just seeing him, obviously, again, hindsight 2020, but the manager knows best. He just had zero input. He had nothing in that game. There was nothing, Kev.
So, do you know what? Yeah, there was nothing. But you know what? We've got to give Liverpool some credit. I don't think we're giving Liverpool any credit here. I think we're just slapping our lads. They've done this, done that. Liverpool turned it up on us, and we couldn't handle it. So,
but I said they're the best team in Europe.
I'm just saying. The opposition are top class, so that's why we didn't see him. That's why we didn't see a Lacazette. Really, we saw them first half make a few moves from the midfield going forward, but we're not there as a team. So we're not there. No. When they turn it up, we're not good enough to adjust yet.
Right. But yesterday on the show, we were talking about how we have to stop making those excuses and it's time for Arsenal to step up. And if we're going to move in a new direction.
What excuses?
About being bitch slapped by a team like Liverpool when teams like Brentford, West Ham and Brighton didn't get bitch slapped.
Sophie, Liverpool bitch slapped Manchester United, who's got a lot stronger squad and more experienced squad than we have. It's not the first time. It's not the first time they're going to do it.
All right. Let's go to these two.
Yeah, I thought first half, Smith Rowe, we didn't really see Smith Rowe because he was really dealing with a rampant Trent Alexander-Arnold, who for most of that first half, was pretty quiet. So they were kind of cancelling each other out until the last bit where obviously he gets on that free kick. And I mean, Sophie, I don't know if you realize how good that free kick coming in is. It is virtually unplayable because he only takes 2 steps. It's 2 steps and it's in. As a defense, maybe you could say, right, we were defending maybe a bit too high. You could say, could Tomiyasu just have eased Mane out? But we got overloaded at the back 3-2, and Mane gets a good header. Ramsdale nearly got it. You go in at 1-0, you're still in the game, Soph. You know what I mean? We're still in the game. Second half, we just weren't at the races, Sophie. We weren't. They stepped it up, and we just couldn't deal with it. So, do you know what? First off, Saka made some good moves, but that end product just isn't there for him right now. I think Smith Rowe thought worked pretty hard as well. I give Saka a 4 and I give Smith Rowe 5.
Yeah, I think there's a issue brewing with Saka's form for club versus country. I also think that they're tired and they've played a lot of football. You know, especially Saka, having gone to the Euros and playing and being called for England in all of these matches, and he's played and featured in a few. And I think Emil Smith-Rowe just had one of those humbling games today. You've been good, son. You've been sexy. You've played amazing football. You've scored goals. You got called up by your country. You banged in a goal. But it's always so good in some ways for young players to be humbled. And unfortunately, they were humbled because the experienced players around them, once again, did not show up, which is why I think some Arsenal fans need to be a bit more real about our transfer window in January and the summer. We've got an issue up front, and we still have an issue creatively, because we have to make the jump at some point, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to be able to move things forward. And I'm sure Arteta and Adu do want to move it forward with better players. Mm-hmm. But again, it's just another reminder that if we really want to compete in the Premier League and we want to start evolving and getting results outside of cup competitions against these teams, whether it's the Community Shield or City or Chelsea in the FA Cup, we've really got to move on and move forward. And I just thought Saka was so poor today. I thought Emil Smith-Rowe tried, but I think Saka disappeared. I've never seen him disappear in a game. And I felt like he just disappeared today. And I don't know if that's through fatigue, Kev.
We were overwhelmed. Sophie, they were coming at us from everywhere. They were coming at us from everywhere, you know. And again, you know what, Sophie? It's we got reality check today, which again, there's no shame in that, Sophie. There is no shame in us getting reality checked. We came in, we were on a good run, but we got reality checked. And how we respond is going to be so important to see. We got Newcastle next, I believe.
Yes, we do.
How we respond is going to be so important, because you know what? Yeah, we got a tail between our legs today, but you know, get back on that training pitch and get going. That's the name of the game.
Avon, I don't know what game you were watching, but he was not our best outfield player today. He wasn't. I don't even know if there's one you can call our best outfield player today. Okay, here we go. Next is Captain. Where was he today, Kevin?
He was a forlorn figure at the top end of the pitch, Sophie. Got nothing. You get nothing. Got nothing. And it was, you can't even say it was he had a poor performance, because he got nothing, Soph. He got nothing. As a striker, I've been there, where balls are coming up to you and they're up here, and it favors the defense all the time. I don't know what he's supposed to do when, first off, I thought we linked okay at times. But second half, Sophie, we just were overwhelmed. I don't know what he's supposed to do.
What does he offer the team when we're playing a high-octane team like Liverpool? Because he doesn't hold the ball up well. That's not him, right?
Sophie,
you said yesterday about Martinelli, and we're going to get to that. Do you want to talk about that now?
Yeah, we can do if you want. But, Sophie, the key to everything is control. You have to be able to control the ball. You have to be able to pass the ball to a yellow shirt. We couldn't do that in the second half. We couldn't do it. We weren't good enough.
Why didn't Martinelli get a chance to come on that left side? Why didn't he, Kev? You said yesterday your one of your big things on Kevin Says was Pepe or Martinelli. Neither got a sniff today. Why? When we're looking for some type of energy or magic when we're struggling, when there's really nothing being fed by the midfield. And by the way, you could argue that maybe Odegaard would have been better in this game. We need more of what I said at the top of the show was a controller of the ball versus a ball carrier against Liverpool. Can you talk me through that dynamic a little bit?
Yeah, again, hindsight is always great. But what we came into this with a team who had done pretty well. And for a half, we find ourselves 1 down at Anfield at halftime. No shame in it. We're doing okay. But second half, we fell apart because we didn't pass the ball well enough. We made basic errors, Sophie, that against the best teams, you get punished. And as an attacking force, we didn't exist, Sophie. So you can bring Martinelli on, but we don't control any of the game.
Why isn't he even getting a sniff?
No, but maybe, Sophie, maybe, just maybe, the manager wanted the team to suffer. And that might sound crazy, but I've been involved in teams like that where you have to suffer sometimes to understand the level.
You've talked us through that before, and there was a game where I can't remember which one for Arteta, and you said he left them on to suffer. At some point...
Yeah, but Sophie, you're not going to win the game. You are not going to win the game.
So why not throw him in?
Sophie, because he wants the team to suffer. It's not gonna make a difference bringing him on.
Do you not think now, Kev, that Martinelli's dad's comments were a come and get me?
No, I don't. No.
He's not going to sit on the bench like that.
Why would it change after 90 minutes? Why would his dad's comments all of a sudden take different meaning?
I said it the same day when it came on, and I challenged the question.
Yeah, and I answered. And you're asking it again. So I'm saying, why would it change after this game?
Because he's not getting any chances, ever.
Well, he didn't get on the pitch today. It happens.
He hasn't been able to get on the pitch in most games.
Yeah, but he has got on the pitch.
Would you have given...
got on the pitch against Watford.
Right, but
that was the last game. So you're saying he hasn't been able to get on the pitch, but he has.
But for like 7 minutes, Kevin.
Yeah, but Sophie, that's the name of the game. He gets on the pitch. Sophie, listen, let me just say this, and I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Gabriel Martinelli, when he gets his chance, he has to take it. All these being treated appallingly and all that. Who would... So do you say he should have played today?
These same people who are poo-pooing on this Brazilian wonder kid are the same people that were screaming for him to have a part in this team. And now all of a sudden, Martinelli can't deliver because he's had a couple of appearances where he hasn't. Who delivered today? Who cares? Throw someone on. Throw caution to the wind. Try something different. Kevin, a lot of people in chat want to know from you, what is Arsenal's plan B?
We don't have one.
Why?
Why? Because in all the shake-up of changing this team, we haven't got the money to. We haven't got the money to. We need a big striker. We haven't got the money to.
You know, this isn't a case of the sky is falling, you guys. This isn't a case of... The only reason I'm challenging this result is because, again, like broken record, Brentford, Brighton and West Ham. That's the only reason I'm challenging this result. And then also, when you see very little creativity and you're looking for maybe a player to come in and be able to change a game on his own, Martinelli could be that player. It's shocking.
Yeah, but coulda, woulda, shoulda isn't working. The
Okay.
manager didn't pick him.
What about this guy, Kev?
Again, Lacazette, I thought tries, works. First half, I thought we were okay, but second half, so we capitulate because they turn it up and we cannot handle it. So Aubameyang, I'll give Aubameyang a 4. I give Lacazette a 4 as well. Sophie, the bottom line is to have a plan B, you got to have some control of the game. Second half, we had no control of the game.
Would you have given this a shot today, maybe? Like brought Pepe on to see what he could have done? You opted for Martinelli, and Kevin says yesterday, but seeing how the game was unfolding, Kev,
No.
Would you still have liked to have seen, based on what you said yesterday, would you have loved to have seen Martinelli?
Yeah, I would have. Yeah. But the fact he never come on, it's the manager's decision.
Okay, should we do the subs at the same? We've got Maitland-Niles and Odegaard, of course.
They get 5, Soph. They came on. They done all right.
It was over.
But the second, it's as a contest, it's over. So whoever you bring on, they're just managing the game after that, aren't they? They're just managing it.
Kev, can I ask you then about halftime? Didn't feel like Arteta had any effect on the team at halftime, and the players came out unaffected by their own mistakes, their own poor play, their own stuff. No one came out with any sense of urgency, no fight. There was nothing. And usually Arteta has been quite good recently in halftime situations. Of course, the opponent is superior to us, but you and I said, and you especially as an ex-player said, I just want, if we're going to get beat, let's just get beat fighting or playing. Let's not get bitch slapped, is kind of, in hindsight, what we discussed and what you didn't want to see happen.
No, I wanted to see us punch him in the mouth.
And we didn't.
And we couldn't.
Arteta got close to punching Klopp in the mouth.
Well, I must admit, I did like that, Soph. I did like it. But second half, as I say, first half, I thought we were okay. Second half, Sophie, you cannot legislate for passing the ball to their striker who turns and goes in your box and puts it in your net. You can't legislate for that. No manager could say, because the manager, he can't influence that. It's just a player's decision. And once you go 2 down, you are in a deficit. So
right,
especially there.
Of course. And Levitra, you're missing the point. I don't care about Burnley. It's what they did against Liverpool. That's what counts. And I'm not trying to stoke the fire with Arteta. I actually think I've been completely respectful to Arteta this evening. And I have given him kudos for the team that he chose, sticking with his best 11. Absolutely 100% made the right decision. Also made the right decision to sub Lokonga and bring on Maitland-Niles. I would have gone for Partey and seen what Lokonga and Maitland-Niles could have done together, considering Partey didn't look fit. Made the right decision to keep Nuno in. Now he's got other decisions that he needs to make. So please, don't insinuate that I'm coming after Mr. Mikel Arteta.
I thought the manager saved Lokonga because he realised what Liverpool
he was having
a
howler.
No, but he realised him. Yeah, he realised. Hold on a minute, because if you watch, remember, I'll tell everybody, because I was doing the game, we're doing the analysis on the midfield, and you see them. You actually see the way they moved, the way they squeezed in, and the way they went for it. We couldn't learn. We didn't learn. Again, I mentioned earlier on that obviously the way they played at Anderlecht, why, he's a little bit open in his touch sometimes. But it's good. That's what the best teams do, so.
Yeah.
The best teams target a player who they think, right, we could nick it early. And there's no better team at the press than Liverpool.
The second half, Liverpool were just insane with the press. I mean, I think that's probably the best they've played all season, to be honest with you. Terry, I agree. Mentally still weak. Lots of improvements to make.
I wouldn't say mentally weak, Soph. I'd say we weren't good enough in the second half. It's not because we're mentally weak. We know that we can play. But when we're put under pressure, good players, good young players were making fundamental errors. It's not just because they're weak, it's just because they made the mistake. He thought he was passing it to a yellow shirt. He kind of probably looked up, saw a yellow shirt. But by that time, the good teams, that passing lane is gone. And if you watch Liverpool are a front foot team who intercept a lot of balls. But when they intercept, they don't just play sideways. They play forward and they hurt you.
Yeah. I mean, it was very humbling. The whole thing was a very humbling experience. You know, Leicester, you can see Leicester got trounced today by Chelsea. We beat them too. Not particularly great team.
It should have been 6-7.
Yeah.
And our one could have been 6-7 if it wasn't for Ramsdale. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And this is Ramsdale's comment post-game. Sometimes we stick to game plan too much. That handbrakes again against top clubs. So, you know.
No chance.
We had the handbrake on.
I listened to it. You stick to the game plan too much. What kind of nonsense is that? That makes no sense.
Or did he say it?
I never heard him say it. And I listened to him after. But how can you stick to a game plan too much? If it's your game plan, it's your game plan.
What about the marks for the manager? Got into... Look at that. He looks like that character from the Addams Family.
I love it. I love that. I give Mikel Arteta a 5 today, Soph. First half, I thought the way we set up, the way we started playing in the first half, I thought we were all right. Obviously, we conceded before halftime, which was a disappointment. But obviously, second half, we weren't good enough. So he gets a 5, just average.
Yeah, I thought he could have made the other subs earlier to affect the game. Felt like... and Vivek is standing by the comments. He's sharing what Arsblog apparently put out. So we'll see. We can always address that in midweek. Arteta gets a 10 for the fight and early changes. The manager can't do nothing. I don't know if that's true, but here's where we're going to start judging Arteta. It's not against Villa anymore or Leicester, but it will be, of course. But it's against these other teams in the league. We have to keep climbing, striving, moving forward, evolving, improving.
That's right, 100%.
You know, and I would have thrown Kamikaze Pepe on or Martinelli. It was very conservative, and then El Neni comes on late. It's like, why?
But it's 4-0, Soph.
No, who cares at that point if it's 5?
So if you don't care, why are you worrying about? What are you saying then? If you don't care.
I said, who cares about it at that point? Just bring on an attacking player. Why do you have to bring on El Neni?
Because why? What should it matter? We're 4-0 down. It don't matter. It doesn't matter.
But why not bring Pepe or Martinelli on earlier where they can affect the game?
Yeah, but Sophie, we're 2 or 3-0 down at that time. Sophie, it's not happening. It is not happening.
He played with the handbrake on today and he parked the spaceship. And he played fearful football. And I get that we have to be...
I don't think we did first half. I don't think we did.
Well,
there you go. That's your opinion and my opinion. I thought we were right first half. I did. I thought we made some good breaks. Yeah, we weren't great in the last third, Sophie. But I thought we done all right first half.
Okay, also, you guys, listen. We said we wanted to see progress. We preached all week about rearview mirror, becoming a new Arsenal. But now it's okay that we got spanked by Liverpool. We said that we didn't want to get bitch slapped. We didn't want to get embarrassed. But here we are. And the context of my dialogue and conversation is about those other 3 teams that were able to get results, and yet under an improved Arteta, an improved Arsenal, we were absolutely taken to school by a group of men and we played like boys. That's where I'm coming from. I don't think there's any harm or foul in losing to Liverpool, but it's the manner in which you lose to Liverpool. We thought that they'd fight. Ramsdale was the only one that fought in that game, tooth and nail from start to finish. You could see him as well yelling at his back line, Kev, couldn't you?
Yeah, Sophie, look, we could, however we want to cut it up, however you want to say it, Sophie, the bottom line is we've seen the 2 sides of Arsenal again, first half to second half. Because Arsenal in the first half wasn't the Arsenal in the second half. It wasn't. We were a lot more tighter. We were better on the ball. We used the ball better in the first half. We defended better in the first half. But the game is 2 halves. That's why I keep saying it's a game of football. You get asked, and teams like Liverpool, when they start adjusting and targeting you, will ask you a lot more questions. That's what they would do. And that's what they've done second half, and we couldn't handle it.
And it's a shame. Since 2017, Liverpool, I think it's since 2017. I'll correct myself on Monday's show if this is the case. But 22 goals they've scored to our 4.
Mm-hmm.
Bogey team and then some. Super Kev, what else do you have to say today?
I still have to say, listen, we got a reality check. Yes, we did, Sophie. We got a big reality check. And it can happen. But I want to see how the team respond. This is, for me, it can happen to anybody. How you respond is the key. So there's no wallowing in self-pity. Yeah, we went into it and we thought, let's have a goal, boys. Let's punch him in the mouth. It didn't quite materialize. But you know what? Next game, we've got to win the next game. That's the key now. That's the key.
And that next game is against Newcastle United, who were able to get a point today. I believe after today, though, with Norwich winning again.
Newcastle are bottom.
Newcastle are bottom. Oh, you love to see it. You just love to see it, don't you? Absolutely love to see it. Spank today on to Newcastle. Well said, Mo. Right, that's it. That's all we've got time for. 1 hour, 17 post-game show. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, there was 20, 25 minutes of, of family debate. And we still won't agree. And I'm sure on Monday it will come up again. And you know what? It's okay. Look, we love our club. We're still in 5th. The Premier League table, Chelsea on top, 29 points. Liverpool 25. Manchester City 23. West Ham lost today. We couldn't capitalise on that. Arsenal are in 5th.
Sophie, you know something? Just think about it.
I'm not sure I know anything anymore, Kev.
Well, just think about it, Sophie. We win today, we go joint 2nd.
But we didn't.
No, I know, but I'm saying this is why it hurts, isn't it? Because we want to be there. There's no excuse. Of course, we want to be there. We're just not quite there. We're not there.
Kevin, I genuinely, we don't have to kiss and make up, Tammy. Don't worry about us. We're fine. I genuinely felt that we could get a point from this game. Something.
I did too.
And we just folded like a cheap lawn chair on Brighton Pier, as I said.
Sophie,
I'm sorry, it's upset my bowel movement too, U to B.
Sophie, at the end of the day, my dear.
It's night.
Look, it's night. And we move on. Yeah, tail between our legs. We got a reality check. It happens. And yeah, Liverpool have faltered against other teams. We move on. All I could say is, Squaddies, thanks for joining us. And listen, don't be too harsh and on yourselves tonight. Have a drink or watch whatever you're doing or just chill out. And you know what, Squaddies?
They need a little bit of Vinny.
Oh, look at Vinny.
It's his
Christmas
holiday
Vinny.
picture.
Look, is it Christmas? Yeah,
It is.
there's a bow on that as well, isn't it?
It's
Love
a,
it,
it's
Vinny.
a dog toy. He's modeling for it. Bless him. Aw.
Fantastic. So look, hit the like button on the way out, please. And you know what we're gonna do? Have a good rest of the weekend. Have a super Sunday tomorrow, and we'll see you for Monday Madness, where me and Sophie might have the extinguishers out.
I'm a
At
feeling that
ease,
much.
squaddies. At ease.
Fire.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.